Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tying up a Graboid Leech. We've got a up eye shank in the vise with a gold bead on it. Now we're going to be tying a red Graboid Leech today, so I've just prepped a 4-inch rabbit strip and tapered it at the end. Tying in your braid to the desired length of your leech, keeping in mind that it's going to be ultimately actually about this long once we tie the hook, and maybe slightly longer. Now measure out your rabbit strip so that the end of it you have enough to fold over the top of the fly, and it's as long as the entire fly. So we're going to take about 3/4 of an inch back is where we're going to tie this in. Of course, make sure that your rabbit strip is slightly longer than your braid as well, or else you won't have enough to attach the hook to. And just get your fingers slightly wet. A few tight wraps, secure that down. Very small dot of super glue, just so it doesn't slide. Few wraps right in front, and just fold that back. We don't need it yet. Now we're going to make a composite loop, and it's going to start with just about an inch of fusion dub, not even 3/4 of an inch. Set that to the side. Switch up your color. I'm going with gold. Go with whatever you want. A fair bit of that. And we're going to spread that out. We want it about 2 inches long. So we're going to take half of it and lay it down flat. Take another section of it, lay it down right at the end of that. And on top of that composite loop, we're going to lay down 1 3/4 of some gold Predator wrap. Grab it in your fingers, just spread it out. Switch sides, do the same. That's how you can get this material to splay out at the ends. On top of your 2-inch section of dubbing that you've laid out. The reason for that is we're actually going to take that 2-inch dubbing pile and fold it back over that Predator wrap, because we only laid down the Predator wrap in a 1-inch section. We still had dubbing below it, so we just folded that back over the top. That's what your composite loop should look like. So you see we have the orange hot spot that's going to be at the back of the fly. Then we have that gold dubbing web with the Predator wrap laid over it. Go ahead and spin that up. OPST dubbing spinner. Go in with a wire brush and just gently rub some of that extra out. Center that so it doesn't keep spinning, and then just get your fingers wet and pull that all back one direction. Spin that up right in front of your rabbit strip. One wrap right in front of the next. I'm not making a ball here. Now fluff it forward because it makes this next part easier. Then split it down the middle. So all the fibers that are naturally on this side, pull them down that way. Fibers on that side, pull them down that way. Train them all to go straight down. Pull that rabbit over the top of that. Capture it down. 7-8 good wraps, nice and tight. Trim the excess. 2 gold rubber legs on this. One's speckled with gold dust and the other is barred. Again, feel free to use whatever colors you want. Turn that over your thread to make a V, and then pull that tight slightly towards the bottom on the side. And grab the other ones, pull them to the other side, capture them down over here. And tuck those back so they don't mess with you. We've got some lateral scale. I'm going to tie that in just as long as the fly. Do it on my side first. You do this all with 2 pieces, really. You don't need to do it on the other side. Just come over, capture it on that side. Now traditionally on this fly you would be using Amherst now on the flanks at this point. I'm going to do ostrich. I think it looks better in the water, has more movement. Just personal preference. Do whichever one you prefer. 2/3 the length of the fly. Got about 4 fibers here. I'm actually doing forward and back with those wraps, 3 or 4 each way, and then I'm just going to trim the excess. That way those definitely never get pulled out. Same thing on the other side. Throw some red rabbit strip that we used here into a dubbing loop. So we're going to put it in a clamp, pull it out a little bit to make it easy to grab. At that point, just go through and tap it, get it as close to your loop as you can without pushing it through the other side. Brush it out, and brush that all back one way, and just spin that forward. Capture that down. Now here's kind of a bizarre tip, but a good one. If you grab your bead, oftentimes what will happen with a bead, I've already kind of fixed it, I should have shown you before, is it'll be slanted one way or the other. Usually you'll have a buildup of thread on the bottom because that's where you whip finished and where you can't see putting in your turn, so your bead will be slightly slanted instead of sitting perfectly straight on your shank. But once you've actually got everything tied down and it's really nice and snug, you can go in, grip it nice and hard, and then pull back and twist it as you're doing that, and it'll set it so that the carved out portion of the bead goes back and snugs up over everything and then sits perfectly straight. I do a really slow whip finish on cones or beads. Kind of multitask, pull back some of the fur. Go ahead and thread on your hook. Pull that forward. We actually want it facing up. We're going to put that in like that. First loop's going to come from the bottom, over it, spin once, come back, spin again, come forward. Then I like to slowly pull back just so that sits correctly there for the next step. So that's facing up and it's open. Rabbit strip goes through that loop. Try and create a bit of a V for it to sit inside of. no trapped fur, and start pulling that tight. Slowly, controlled. Then before that's actually finally tight at the bottom, pull out any trapped fur, which there usually is quite a bit. Pull that nice and tight. And I like to make it really tight. I'm gonna grab pliers, cinch that super well. Only thing you want to make sure of at this point is that that rabbit skin can't touch the tip of the hook. If it doesn't, you're good. There we have it. Really cool fly. It's a Graboid Leech in red and gold. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.